Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the ABA Coffee in the Park. My name is Cam Milliken, and I'm here with my co-host extraordinaire, Jennifer Herrick, the Executive Director of the Atchison Business Association. Good morning, Jennifer. Man, isn't it awesome out there? Oh, man, the wind was blowing. My flip-flops ended on the other side of the yard. Unbelievable. Tons of rain and lightning and thunder.
Was something else.
I love that thunder. That loud thunder, that's like the best. That's just so awesome. Anyway, yeah, quite a storm, but today is very beautiful. And I want to let you all know that we are coming to you from the Wall Coffee Roasters in the heart of beautiful downtown Atchison. That's right. So, hey, if you're ever in the neighborhood, or you should come to the neighborhood, just to come to the Wall Coffee Roasters and have a coffee. My favorite latte. Can I just say this right now?
You say this all the time.
Do I say this all the time?
You.
I just want to say it again. My favorite latte right now is the honey blueberry latte.
You can get it iced or cold.
Iced or hot.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
It's wonderful. Do I say that every time?
Well, you do love it.
I do love it.
Not on air necessarily,
no, good,
but to everybody
I
that
tell
comes
everybody
into the
I
coffee
meet
shop.
to get a honey blueberry latte. It's hard to say 10 times really fast, but anyway, not that you'd want to, but nonetheless, so come and get a honey blueberry latte in beautiful downtown Atchison at the Wall Coffee Roasters. And Jennifer, tell us about some very important people.
We would like to thank our gold corporate sponsors, which include the MyShack group of companies, Genix, Parkland County, and Bow Valley Credit Union.
That's right. Without them, we would not be able to do what we do, so thank you all very much. Anything new you want to tell us?
Oh, there's probably lots new.
Our golf tournament sold out.
Oh, yeah, and it's coming up fast.
I'm so very
weeks.
excited about our golf tournament.
There's going to be a big surprise. We're not going to share what that is.
I know. I'm so excited.
We'll share what
all I'm going to say is it's going to... No, I was going to say... I'm not going to say that.
Don't do it. You'll give it away.
Because I will give it away, so I'm not going to say... But no one will ever guess, but I'm not going to say it. So it's going to be a hoot. It's going to be a blast.
It will.
Anyway, so, hey, anything else?
Well, I'm just ready to get to our guest.
Then let's get to her, because she's awesome.
She is amazing. So our guest... Okay, I've got to preference this.
Yes.
She was the winner of the
That's
Women
right.
in Leadership Award last year at
last
our
year's gala. Yes.
Yes, she is. She was a panelist last year at my Women in Leadership event.
Yes.
Yes.
She won last year, which makes her the reigning queen of, well, not queen. I don't know what the word is. She's like for a whole year.
Yeah.
She should like tour and do tours.
She
and like
could.
Anyway,
We digress,
yeah. Okay. So
our guest today is Maron Green, who is the Chief Operating Officer of JAPA Equipment Rentals and Machinery Group. So welcome, Maron.
Hi, Maron.
Hi, thank you.
Good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming out on this beautiful day.
It is gorgeous out today.
Yeah, for leaving the office. I know you guys are busy. Busy season.
Busy season.
For JAPA.
It's nice to get a break away from the office in the busy season.
Yeah.
JAPA is located in the heart of beautiful downtown. They're in the vicinity
Are
of
they
beautiful
or
downtown
are they in a
Atchison.
subdivision?
Well, no, we are
no,
like
they're-
outskirts of right downtown.
See?
Oh,
Atchison.
I like that.
Yeah.
The
The
outskirts
outskirts. She's
of
right.
right downtown. That's the best. Listen, people, you need to come visit downtown Atchison and then tour around and see all these businesses because it's
Right.
pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, let's kick it off.
Let's get going.
Maron, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up and where were you born?
Well, I was born in West Edmonton, and I spent my life there up until I was in my 20s, but went to high school at St. Francis Xavier.
St. Francis Xavier.
Yes.
Okay, so I have to ask this question because I ask it every time. What was the St. Francis Xavier mascot?
We were the Rams.
The Rams.
The Rams,
The
yes.
Rams.
That's a good mascot.
That is, I went to Rochelle,
Oh,
and we were the
The Thunder-
T-Birds.
yeah, the Thunderbirds.
the Thunderbirds. I don't know if we ever met you guys in anything. Maybe we did.
Sure.
The,
Oh my
the
goodness.
Rams would definitely wipe out the T-Birds, I think. Anyway, so you went to St. Francis.
Yeah, I went
okay.
to St. FX.
Or
and
St.
then
FX, yeah.
I continued on at university. I first started at the Faculté Saint-Jean. And did the beginnings of my business degree there, and
Okay.
then transferred over to the main campus at the U of A.
Okay.
And finished my international business degree there.
Right. So you started out in the French.
I did, yes. I went
Do you
to.
speak fluent French?
I'm a little rusty,
Little rusty,
but
yeah.
I went to French immersion growing up, and even at FX, I was able to take some
Yeah.
French classes, and then It was great. Just being able to go to the Faculté Saint-Jean for a couple classes in between. Some of the classes at the U of A, you have the 300-person class sizes, and my brain doesn't learn accounting that way, or it doesn't learn economics that way. So I was able to take some economics classes at the Faculté Saint-Jean, and instead of being in a 300-person class,
highly respectable faculty.
20,
One of the, it is very across the country.
Yeah.
It's a very highly respected faculty.
So the 20-person class sizes were really helpful for me.
Awesome.
At that point, getting through some of those.
So, Maron, tell us a little bit about what your family did growing up, because this will segue, I think, into kind of where you are now.
Well, growing up, my mom was a nurse, and she worked with first with multiple dependency handicapped children, and she helped work school for them, and then she transferred over and she worked with the Canadian Cancer Society.
Okay.
Really?
And then my dad, he came out, they're both from PEI originally.
Right.
And they met at university in PEI in line up there, and then my dad had to get some summer work, so he was flying out to Alberta because he's the youngest of 8, so his older brothers were in Alberta, and he started working for a pipeline company out here, and was back and forth going to school, and then he ended up joining up with my uncle who had started JAPA JAPA started in 1972, and he came aboard in 1974.
Okay, so we best tell everyone what is JAPA?
JAPA stands for Jack and Paul.
Jack and Paul.
And those were the 2 original founders.
I didn't know that. Honestly, did not know that. Really?
So JAPA stands
Jack
for,
and Paul.
Yeah, they were two guys who were working on the pipeline industry together, and they came together and they decided to start JAPA. And Jack and Paul was going to be their catchy name.
That is just awesome. I love that.
Yeah, and then actually, they actually only worked together with JAPA for 6 months or whatever. It wasn't a very long time, and then they decided to go off in different areas and different focuses. And then my dad came in and joined Paul, and that was the start of JAPA as we know it.
Okay.
It's quite the come up story, because they worked out of a Quonset hut forever, and then little by little they wanted to build a shop in the west. It was in the west end of Edmonton originally. And they couldn't get a mortgage. So it was every job that they did, any profits that they got, they would go to the cinder block store. And they bought cinder blocks, and they built their original shop location in the West End.
That's pretty awesome.
Block by block.
Literally block by
block. Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
What a story.
Yeah.
Because it's literally block by block.
Literally, yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So, and it was the start of everything that they originally built up with JAPA. It was Paul's son David, who's very close in age to my dad. He came in the 80s as well, and they built this pipeline company. They were on the forefront of a lot of technology, welding technologies for a lot of automation and things like that. They were a lot of designs for working pipe layers and peat moss and everything like that. It was a lot of engineering and forethinking that should make things that were suitable for the Alberta environment, which is, I think, really cool.
Well, and the 80s were a boom in Alberta for energy, and that's right. Well, most of the 80s.
Boom and bust.
Yeah, boom. I was going to say most of
the,
and then the bust happened. But so they obviously they're brilliant because they saw that and jumped on board with that, and away they went.
And then Paul decided to retire in 2003.
Yeah.
And at that point, one of my brothers had been working at JAPA doing wash bay and all that. And he decided he wanted to do an apprenticeship as a mechanic.
Okay.
So we restarted. Sold off a bunch of the pipeline equipment and everything, but then started JAPA Equipment Rentals as the new service and rental division to kind of complement it. It was very small.
So you guys are heavy equipment.
We do, so a lot of heavy equipment, but we do have some lighter and material handling equipment as well. A little bit
specialized.
Telehandlers and some boom lifts and things like that. That's not our area of expertise. So our earth moving equipment is earth moving equipment forever was our bread and butter, and that's where we focus on a lot with the soil compaction, wheel loaders, excavators, anything that we can do. But our service team will fix anything. They service anything. Yeah.
Bring it in, you fix it.
Exactly.
Cool.
So when did the shop move out to Atchison from the West End?
They officially moved out in, I think, officially moved out here, I think in the 2000s, but they had some side projects that had been going on. So our first building in Atchison was bought, I think I say our first building, it was not mine, but JAPA's first building was bought, I think, in the 1980s.
Okay.
Yeah. And so
Atchison was just sort of getting
it was just pretty new.
And it's always been in Zone 3 here, in like the downtown.
Beautiful downtown Atchison, that's right.
Yeah, and the outskirts of downtown. So we've had a couple spots in and around Atchison throughout the years, and then in 2017 we built our new building.
It's beautiful, by the way, their new building.
How come I've never been there?
Oh,
why don't you take me there?
Come visit, it's just around the corner.
See, Maron just invited you.
Oh, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Come
sit next to Vader and have a coffee.
All right, I'll bring coffee from the Wall Coffee Roasters.
Yes, please bring Wall Coffee. It's definitely superior.
All right,
So, Maron, you are in the family business now, but that wasn't always the case.
No, that's right. Yeah. I worked, when I finished university at the U of A, I was working in some finance departments, but my degree had been in international business, and I really love international. I love culture. I love to travel. I love to experience different places, different people, and I had taken some courses that really focused towards international business, so I really loved that. But I had been, working through a university. I spent a lot of time working just to help cover the bills and do all that. And I was working in finance departments for most of that, and I knew that wasn't necessarily my dream or what I wanted to be pigeonholed into. So I decided to leave, and I was looking. I was thinking I wanted to go back to school. I was looking at public relations and jobs like that. So I was deciding to enroll in a public relations degree online from now TMU, Toronto Metropolitan University. But I got a request from JAPA to come fill in as somebody was getting on a medical leave.
Okay.
So it was that, can you help?
So when you say I got a request from JAPA, like from your dad, was it a formal email or was it a Sunday dinner saying I need you to come work for me?
It was somebody was dealing with a cancer diagnosis.
Oh, okay.
And they did all the bookkeeping, all of everything like that.
Yeah.
And so I got the Sunday dinner from
Sunday dinner. Yeah, that's right. I need you to come work for us. End of conversation.
What
Thanks
would
for
you
coming.
think?
Yeah, what would you think? Yeah.
You are currently unemployed.
Parents are the best, eh? They're just the best.
I was actively on the job hunt because I knew I wanted to, but I also knew I was going to go back to school.
Yeah.
So I was like, but he was like, I could really use. And so I started up working at JAPA. It was 12 years ago now.
Okay.
I never left, as you can tell.
Yeah, it's still there, yeah.
And
haven't been fired yet.
Thank God. I started working at JAPA, and then I finished up my degree online, kind of after doing it in the evenings online after I finished at work. But it was in, I think, 2014. I was sitting in our office, a bunch of people out for lunch, and these people stopped in, and they said, this gentleman from China stopped in, and he said, I noticed you have some of our equipment in your yard. And I kind of remember, when I was at the U of A, I took a Asian economics class.
Right.
And we went to China for 3 weeks when I was there. So I remembered some of the business customs where you take the business card in 2 hands, and
it is very important.
It's very important.
Customs when you're
that
dealing.
You knew all this is amazing.
Yeah, it was just so. That was, I chatted with them, and then it started the discussions for how we were familiar with this equipment, which we were originally bringing in.
So they were from this company.
They were from the actual. They were from XCMG, which was the company, the manufacturer of the equipment that we had for our compaction fleet.
And they just happened to be in Atchison.
They were just driving around.
They got lost.
They were here for a crane meeting.
Oh, we won't mention any names.
Yeah, they were here.
We can guess.
We know where they were. And you missed out. No, just kidding. Totally just kidding. Okay.
I don't know the nature of the meeting.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, you're good. You're very good.
They were here for some crane meetings, and we had their compaction equipment.
Yeah.
And we had been buying that from a broker out of the U.S. And they said, would you be interested in dealing with us? So we began the negotiations. I got to flex my muscles and use some of the business plan
Right.
writing that I'd done in
Yeah.
my original degree, and like work on marketing plans, which I was working with my public relations a bit, and started writing out the plan on how this might go and what it might look like, and
Yeah.
working with our team at JAPA to see if this was the direction we wanted to try and take it. And so we signed our official dealer agreement with them in 2016.
Your dad must just love you.
I hope so.
I mean, seriously.
Like, how proud.
Well, you bring her to work.
Right?
And like, who knows? And here, all of a sudden, now
Her
look at this.
international business degree is like paying off.
That's
in
right.
spades.
He the whole time he's like, this will never pay off. And now he's like, this is the best thing that ever happened to us. This is unbelievable. This is incredible.
Oh, maybe.
Do you think this was in your dad's master plan?
No.
Like, do you think that day at dinner, all along, he was
knew
like,
they were
I
coming.
want her. Yeah, I want her here.
You know what? Because I think Jennifer's heard this story, because I think I mentioned it when I was at the panel for the first Women in Leadership event. It was actually because my middle brother had started working with JAPA in 2003,
Right.
and then my other brother has been in a sales position, and he decided to come over and do rentals and sales, used equipment sales at JAPA. So he
Right.
came over in 2008, and I was laughing at probably a Sunday dinner. And I was like, I'm like, when do I get to join ship? And my dad was like, you probably will never work here. Like, you've got an international business. Like, he's like, there's big, beautiful things for you. Like, the world is yours. Like, you can do whatever you want.
Then
You
the
don't have
Chinese
to-
people stopped by, and now she's his favorite. Wow, that's an incredible story.
Yeah, it was.
That
it went
really
from,
is
it
an
went from
incredible
you
story.
probably never work at JAPA to
Yeah.
I've been here 12 years. And
Yeah. Wow.
Here we are.
So that's amazing. So did you end up going over to China then?
Yeah. So the first trip over, like I said, I was still finishing up my degree, or my public relations degree. So I wrote down a bunch of places that I knew from when I'd been there in school, and a few things my brother
Yeah.
Sean, because he traveled in Asia extensively before as well, and then my dad went over, and another gentleman, because we were interested in maybe looking at some cranes at
Right,
that time.
yeah.
And that's not our area of expertise, but there was a person who was interested. So they went over for the first trip. And then I went back in 2016 for my first trip over after we signed our dealer agreement.
Right.
And then it's just been back. I was there twice last year. It's
So there,
back and forth.
there really isn't there. There really is an art in dealing with other
goodness,
cultures.
yes.
And especially Asia.
Very
I've been
much.
all through Asia, and there really is an art, isn't there?
Very much, yeah.
It can be make or break. The simplest things can be
Yes.
make or break.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was when I did part of my international business degree in Denmark.
Yeah.
And we were focusing there in a lot of the classes. This is technical. Sorry, I
No,
don't want to
no,
bore
no,
you.
no, yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
But it's like
She's beaming, folks. Right now,
really
she's
is.
beaming as she's
It's-
talking about this.
this principle. It's like Hofstede's 7 principles of culture
Okay.
and dynamics, and
Yeah.
how they apply in business. So like you go through like working with Asia versus Canada, like
Yeah.
how you like your power dynamics, every different
Yeah.
thing, and so your approach when you're dealing with like people in the Chinese culture, or for us, you have to be very delicate.
Yes,
And you have to
yes, yeah.
come at it with a very approach, and like for us when we started off, like when we were building up JAPA, like titles didn't really matter to us. It was just
Right.
we all had our areas that we were working in, and it was just kind of
Yeah.
even still. But when we didn't have titles on our business cards because we just had our business cards.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was like you're going to China, you need to have
Yeah.
titles on your business
Title
cards,
is
and
huge.
you have to have everything laid
Title,
out. and-
education,
Yeah.
huge, and work ethic.
Yeah.
Work ethic is, I remember in Asia, and I remember I was offered a job in Singapore, actually.
Oh, wow.
And I remember that part of the job description was I worked basically 6.5 days a week.
Yeah.
And got half a day off or a little bit. And I just thought, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. But
Oh, yeah.
that's how they are. And
That's-
that's the accepted
And
norm.
that's still how it is.
Yeah.
For like a lot of people that we talk to at different factories are working 6 days a week.
Yeah.
It's funny actually. He's very high up at XCMG. He's like the general manager of the international equipment of it. Like is very high up
Yeah.
there. VP of international. I'm gonna get the title wrong, and that's such an important
Yeah,
part of
that's
it.
right.
Anyway,
That'll make or break the deal right there. Yeah.
He actually did his PhD at the U of A.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We were there at the same time. So he's
Yeah.
he's a little bit a little bit older than I am, but we were sitting at this deal, and had heard that we were from Edmonton. And he said, I went to the U of A, and he doesn't speak great English per se, but the fact he was over the moon excited that we were at the U of A at the same time.
That you all went there,
and it just, every time I see him since,
he's like, it means a lot.
Yeah, he wants to stand next to me in the pictures because we both went to the U of A.
You're alum.
Yeah, that's right. You're alum, and you're a star.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Oh, it's so cool.
So you got the China deal.
Got the China deal.
And you must have bumped up in the company a little bit.
We got promotion. We were growing at that point when we were, I think, when we worked on that business plan and we were building that out. Yeah. We were still a team of about 8.
Okay.
And now we are a team of about 40, and then we have 2 locations.
Out of that 8, how many were family?
My 2 brothers.
Yeah.
And then Raj, my dad, who is there every once in a while. But he's on the old, he spends his summers in PEI, goes back home and does all that. So,
okay.
So it was a lot of my brothers, and that was about it.
So, Maron, tell us what it's like working with family.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of guests on that work with siblings and parents. How do disagreements go? If you and your brother are disagreeing, who wins that battle? What happens? Good communication skills. Does it affect Sunday dinner, Maron?
I think that's the big thing. It's the communication skills are very important. And I always say my mom is like the great bringer together of people. Like if you are having a disagreement, she doesn't really care. You're gonna come to dinner. But it was also
settle it over roast beef.
But it's also that matters like dirt off our shoulder. Like the most important part is that we are family.
You're family.
And I think we were ingrained that you show up for your people and you show up for your family.
Yeah,
and
100%.
So for me, it's always like you are going to show up no matter what for them.
That's really good.
And so I could be mad at a brother could be mad at me, and I'm still going to go to my niece or nephew's soccer game and be there and cheer them on and get
because family's family, right? Family's family.
And so the blessing, I think, is that our areas of expertise at work, or the areas that we focus on, are we each have our own lane. Mm-hmm. They're divergent, and then we come together in like management and the board.
So you're the CEO?
COO.
So who's the CEO? Your dad still?
Lisa Rogers, the president. Still,
okay. And your brothers are?
Sean is our general manager, and he oversees our service department. And then Steve is our VP of operations, and he oversees all of our importing and exporting.
So is CEO higher than all those other, except for the COO, higher than everybody except for the COO?
Again, for us, like it
Come
doesn't
on,
it doesn't matter that much. Honestly,
good. Okay,
it doesn't matter that much for us. It's a lot of. I think the part is being appointed at the COO came a lot down to what I was working on, where I was focused, and my ability to get certain things done.
Right.
And like Sean and I joke that I can't rebuild an engine. He sure can, but I can do a whole bunch of other things and often other skills and other focuses and other areas that he can't do.
To your point, I think that was a great point. Is everybody knows their skills,
their niche,
their niche, and it just works together.
And you can come together and collaborate, and it's
perfect.
We have to collaborate a lot. It's a lot of weight on your shoulders, building out a business, growing a business. Working with family, trying to create a great environment for people. And so you have to collaborate, you have to share the load a little bit and make it work.
So Maron, I know this about you. Tell us a little bit about, you married a farmer.
I did marry a farmer.
Like a farmer?
A grain farmer.
Like a who farmer?
A grain farmer.
Yeah, a 5th generation grain farmer.
Really?
Yeah.
Like full-blown farm, not hobby farm.
No, full-blown
farm.
So do you live on the farm?
Yeah.
We used to.
Okay.
We used to live a mile away from their farmhouse in the house that was built by God bless him, my husband as a 23-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Built a 23-year-old's dream house. So it's not practical at all. So
I love it.
So,
a 23-year-old boy's dream house.
Yeah, we lived above a garage.
Yeah.
It was a really nice garage. It was heated.
I love it. Okay, so you couldn't live there anymore.
I lived there for like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And we're coming up on 2 years. We just moved into St. Albert.
Okay. But he still farms.
He still farms.
So he's a commuter farmer.
He's a commuter farmer.
Yeah.
Commutes home to the burbs, out to the farm.
Yes.
So it's where we are in St. Albert. It's about 20 minutes for both of us.
Really?
Because it used to be a mile for him, and I would drive 40, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's a nice
you're driving a lot of highway, a lot of winter
yeah.
roads and all of that. And I minded it a little bit more than he minded.
Yeah,
so
for
now we
sure.
split the difference. And
Do you have any animals on your farm?
no animals on the farm. They used to have cattle.
Yeah.
But now they have a shop cat.
It's
That's
important to have a shop cat.
As
Yeah,
we know.
and we have a
and
shop-
we've had a shop cat
Well,
as a guest.
we did.
We did,
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have a shop dog at JAPA. So that's
okay, but
our
no
dog.
cows or chickens.
No,
or,
no, they
you
had-
need any chickens?
Don't
No,
go down
don't
this
go
road.
down that road.
Don't
Yeah,
digress.
sorry, no, that's a whole other story.
No,
Okay.
they had cattle, but they don't do cattle anymore.
Okay.
One of my best friends, she married a farmer from Lacombe, though, and so
Yeah.
they've got cattle out that way and grain. Oh, God,
Yeah.
it's a busy
It's
thing.
a lot.
So I was going to say
But
you probably.
for you. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
You're keeping it separate.
Yeah.
Right.
That-
you are
that's
not.
fascinating.
You are
Yes.
not on
That's
the farm.
really fascinating.
I am not the traditional farm wife.
Yeah.
I suppose that
Do you like farming? Or
I find it very interesting.
Yeah.
I've like the science behind it, like how they do their crop rotations, everything
Right,
like that.
right.
I feel like I'm a sponge and I absorb it, and I find it very interesting. There's a lot of machinery that goes in, which obviously appeals to me. But we have different focus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also great because like they have a farm and a trucking business where they like deliver grain and
Right.
do things like that. And so there's a lot of business conversation that happens just between us.
So they
about
probably
growing
just
business
finished
and-
seeding.
They did,
Yeah.
yes.
So-
It was very quick this year.
Yeah, that's what I hear. And thank goodness for the rain.
The rain
will help.
is a blessing.
Yeah. Well, that is just. I've never heard of a farmer not living on the farm but living in the burbs, but still being the farm.
Yeah.
You knew that?
Yeah.
How did you know? We'll talk about that.
I think it's
anyway. Yeah.
it's a little bit different of
Yeah.
a situation, but it's also nice for him to have a little bit of space.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
he actually says he sees a lot more of their crops now because
okay.
he has to drive
past it, probably,
He only
right?
drove past the
that's
same
right.
fields, but now like when he comes home, if he goes one way, he can see like 20% of the crops, and if he goes another way, he can see another. So he sees a lot more of the crop growth that they have.
I think this is so cool.
Yeah.
She's a COO.
COO.
He's a farmer.
Yeah.
I think this is awesome.
It's great.
This could be a trend. Starting a trend of urban. What would we even call
What are you
it?
saying?
Urban.
A matchmaking like?
I'm just saying, if you're out
Website?
there, and it could be the urban, rural farm website, dating website.
Yeah, to be fair, I had no idea he was a farmer. when we
So
met him.
if he was a farmer and you were like, how did you meet?
We met through friends.
Okay.
I was playing like slow pitch with some of his friends, but I thought he was just like a guy from St. Albert because that's where his friends from slow pitch were from. But no, he was a farmer from.
Yeah, well, now he's a farmer.
When he told me he was a farmer, I didn't believe him. I was like, who farms? Like, who's a farmer? I'm from the West End.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm
Total
from Edmonton.
city, right?
Yeah.
Who farms?
Come on.
We just think our food comes from like
Yeah.
Save On. Like
yeah,
that's.
it's like.
I love it. That's just the best.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, no, we have.
That's pretty cool. I think
Yeah.
we could probably do a whole podcast just on that, on urban rural farming executive business
we
thing
could.
people. Anyway,
right.
Yes, yeah,
so
right.
yeah.
It is like a real business working with, like watching the farms operate and watching them
It is a business.
contracts
It's a business
involved.
that doesn't stop.
Yeah,
right.
right, yeah.
There's
Really
no
doesn't,
time
yeah.
off.
Time
yeah.
off, no.
Yeah, so it's really interesting
Yeah.
from like me being interested in business and all of that, watching the ins and outs and.
Cool.
But it is hard having to explain that. And no,
Yeah.
I do not bring the farm
All right,
dinners.
folks. So you've
or
heard
any
it
of
here.
that.
You've heard it here on the podcast. Any people interested in that lifestyle, phone man?
To be fair, I'd have to get you to talk to my husband because I actually don't know that many farmers. I'm still from the West End.
All right, take that back. Don't phone, Maron. Yeah.
Well, time has flown.
It has. We're
by.
almost at 30 minutes.
I know,
Unbelievable.
I know. Final question, Maron.
Final.
What is the biggest? Wow, best.
Best.
Holy, the best
Best.
piece of advice
Yeah.
you've been given, either personally or professionally, that you carry with you to this day.
I've heard so many great answers on your podcast from people asking this question, but I think I have to defer to like the mantra that I have to tell myself. two things that I lean into, and it's the mantra I tell myself all the time because I like to joke I'm a recovering perfectionist.
Yeah.
Is that
good.
Yeah.
A recovering perfectionist. I like
So
that.
imperfect action is better than the perfect inaction.
Right.
So I always am just like repeat in my brain sometimes where it's like imperfect action. And then I also am a firm believer in the fact like, well, while you can do anything, you can't do everything.
Right.
So hiring the right team around you and trusting the team around you and being able to do that is really
I like that's come out a bit today,
it has.
and I love that.
Yeah.
So how do people find out about JAPA? What can they? Where are you?
We are on all of the socials. Well, most of the socials. I guess
Yeah.
not all of them. I
know.
can't bring myself to open a TikTok.
No,
account.
me neither. It's
we
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
okay.
no offense to those who are on
I'm
TikTok.
sorry.
Just
I'm
we're
just
not
slightly
going
too
there.
old,
Yeah.
I think.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good answer. I'm just too. I like it. That's true.
What's your website?
We're at japamachinery.com. So
Okay.
you can find out about JAPA Equipment Rentals and JAPA Machinery Group there. We are on Instagram at JAPA_machinery, and we are active on LinkedIn and everything as well.
Awesome.
And your physical address in the outskirts of beautiful downtown Atchison is?
The Burbs.
Oh gosh, I have to remember that because the address system changed.
Oh, yes,
and I
that's
always
right.
default.
The mail. Sorry,
Tell
people,
me
it's the
about it.
mail.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
confused everybody.
Yeah.
We're at 10397 267th Street,
Awesome.
which used to be Ellis Drive.
It used to
Right.
be Ellis Drive. It's
Now-
in Zone 3.
Yeah,
Zone
we're Zone
3,
3.
yes, in
yeah,
Atchison.
proud to be in
Fantastic.
Zone 3. We
So,
love
yeah,
it.
so
And
if
we also
you're-
in Calgary.
Yes,
That's right.
you are in Calgary
We're in
as well.
Southeast.
So
in
if
the
you're in
southeast.
beautiful downtown Atchison, you come into the Wall Coffee Roasters.
Take a drive by
Take a drive
JAPA.
by JAPA.
It's a
Yeah,
beautiful
Why not?
building.
Honestly, stop by.
Stop in, say, hey, I heard you on the podcast.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Let's talk farmer and
equipment.
and equipment and executive and matchmaking. And anyway, we won't go there. But this has
We've
been
got
awesome.
some comfy chairs. We got lots of equipment to sit
Yeah,
around.
I think that'd be cool.
Come in for a visit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much,
Yes,
Maron.
Yeah,
thanks,
thank
Maron.
you.
This has been really great. Really
Oh, I
appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks.
you guys.
I just love Maron. She is one
What
of
a-
my favorite people.
What a great story. Like an incredible story,
An
really.
incredible story.
And just it's just so unique. I love it. And the family business thing, and just I just love.
And the international business degree,
Yeah.
right? And how that really paid off for the company.
Yeah. And again, businesses that are involved in international trade and export and all of those kinds of things, they understand that. But if you're not, you don't really understand. It's not just a matter of walking in and selling
not.
something.
No.
Yeah. So I think it's really cool the way they recognize that, and now they do obviously business in Asia, and I think that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It is.
Well, thanks, everybody. Hey, listen, thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of our podcast. We really appreciate it. We're coming up
Can you believe it?
to our 1-year anniversary.
On the 24th of June.
Unbelievable that we've been doing this for a year.
You and I thought this would last a couple episodes.
Exactly.
And peace out. We're done.
I think what the bigger thing is the fact that you and I every Tuesday morning sit here and we're still friends. I think for the most
I
part,
know.
that's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty cool. We've had well over 50 guests.
We're almost at 8,500 listeners.
And we're, around the world.
Around the
So
world.
it's pretty cool. So thank you, folks, for listening to us. And make sure you tell people about our podcast. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your business associates, tell your enemies. If you don't have any friends, make a friend just so you can tell them about the podcast.
And subscribe. Because
Subscribe.
then you won't miss a new episode.
Subscribe. Yeah, it'll pop up on your screen.
On all platforms where you can find podcasts.
That's right, wherever you get your podcast, or at www.atchisonbusiness.com.
That's right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next
See you
time.
next week.